Hi, welcome to High Heels to Happy Feels. I'm Natalie,
I'm Stephanie.
and we at Immersive Spirit wanted to bring about the topic of detoxing your physical and your energetic environment, and thought that this week would be a fantastic week to do it since we are brand new into 2025. So, with that being said, because I just mentioned that it's a good time to do it, let's first start off with Steph, give me some benefits and purposes of physical and energetic decluttering.
Oh man, there's so much around this. You know, it's a new year and it's brand new energy. So, looking at how we can really declutter our life, it's a reset, right? 2025 or whatever year you're in, everybody's big about setting resolutions or goals or, for us our intentions and doing our manifestation. But did you cleanse your energy? Did you cleanse your house? Did you declutter your space? Are you getting rid of that, shedding that energy um, that's negative, that's been holding on to make room for new and big improvements in 2025? These kind of practices are going to basically set you up for success in the entire year ahead. Um, there's a huge power too with clearing space, right? So your physical clutter is generally, I'm not going to say always, because there are those that can live in incredible chaos and not have a chaotic mind. But generally, if you live in a decluttered space, you are a little more clear of mind and focus as well. Um, it keeps you calmer, right? Keeps you a lot calmer. I will say, just from experience this last week and all of the remodeling we're going through, the hardwood floors, Shane finally finished, my partner, and my office. And so when all the furniture and bookshelves and my altar and everything came back in, I was able to go through and really dust every bottle of herbs, all of my
Oh,
crystals. What?
ew. I can imagine the amount of dust just because we
Oh,
don't touch everything in our spaces.
I know. And it was nasty. Oh my God. It was so gross. And I just, sitting here and sneeze every once in a while. But it is glorious in here now, right? You wouldn't know it looking behind me because it's just got so much garbage kind of in that little corner, but it is. And I minimalized. I did some other things that are um, I got rid of. I got rid of some laptop bags that I don't need anymore, that I don't use, and just held on to, the one that I need for the corporate job. And I cleansed out a lot of different things. All of the stuff that we use to make sun catchers, I made space for. Yeah. And cleaning and just organizing my crystals is just such a joy. I love playing those. So it's for me, it was really about removing the old stuff, keeping, if I needed to keep it, finding the right place for it. So it's not just something that's piled up, because I really want that new energy. I really want to feel the vibrancy. And now I do. I mean, I think I told you right joining the call, I was dancing getting ready after my shower today, listening to our playlist, right, that we have out on Spotify. And I'm just like, I'm jamming out and I'm singing and I'm thinking, oh yeah, 2025 is going to kick ass, sister. This is so much fun. So much fun. How about you?
Yeah, no, when you talked about the energetic of clearing the space,
Uh-huh.
I was thinking of the hygiene behind that too, because
Oh,
as a lot of you know, I have two boys, one who still lives here and one who lives away, but was here over the holiday.
teenage boys. Let's preface that just to understand
Well,
hygiene.
yeah, one's a young adult and one is a gonna be driving next month.
Wow.
Yeah. I know. I'm 16. But like just energetically cleaning the entire house.
Mhm.
I have sound bowls and I use sound sometimes, but I smudge, like I've mentioned on the podcast before, I smudge at the beginning of every month. So at the beginning of every year, definitely do that
Oh, yeah.
because it gives the feeling of like cleanliness. So on top of that, and all of the stuff you're talking about, the decluttering, the getting the stuff out, that is, it really kind of reduces the overwhelming feeling coming out of the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
Because you get
Oh,
through the holidays and you've got all the boxes and the bows
yeah.
and the stuff that you need to put away and the
Yeah.
dishes that you only use once a year. And you get those put away, and all of a sudden it's like, ah. And so it kind of gets rid of that overwhelm. And it's like that last bow on top to kind of
Right.
energy clean that. And then the other thing is, yeah, and you mentioned minimalism. So I just was, we've been working on the manifestation course, which is
Mhm.
going to be like a live Q&A session, but the coursework is actually going to be videotaped now that we figured that piece out. But when you release possessions and you release habits and you release relationships and you release the things that you look at in your life, like I was even going through pictures today and I had old sayings that I had saved because, some broken-hearted thing or some angry thing that just reminded me of how angry I was that day. And I actually saved that picture. And you go through and you start releasing those things, and it just feels good. It just feels
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
empowering, right?
super, super empowering. So,
Yes.
and I know I kind of mentioned things that we do to do those things already, but what steps do you take when you're doing your minimalism or your energy balancing
Hmm.
or clearing your space or what
Doing
steps do you take?
that energetic detox, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I'm going to give you a couple of them and
Okay.
maybe more. So, of course, you mentioned smudging.
Maybe more, she says.
Maybe more. Smudging uh, is awesome. And you were a great reminder to me that I haven't done that for the new year, right? I have absolutely been in my space in here and cleansed the hell out of it, but I need to cruise around my house and open those windows and smudge and do that. But doing it in my office, I always have incense burning. I always have my intention set. I have uh it's just a great way. Number one, it smells awesome. It's yummy. And it is a great way to go ahead and release everything that no longer serves. And you're doing that to release to let those bad energies go. Um, the other thing that's really big for me, and we just finished, we've got so many courses that we've just been banging out trying to get done before the end of the year. And some unfortunately made it right to the beginning of the year. But I just finished the crystals course with you, and our crystals course, it's huge for me. I mean, everyone knows how much I love my crystals. I mean, turquoise is one of my favorites, and I tend to bury myself in it. But the placement of where you set your stones can be so empowering as well. And
Mm,
I talk a lot about this in different videos within that crystal course around crystal grids and different placements, but two or different options with using crystals. Um, but a couple of them just in the crystals themselves, right? If you have a wand, just being able to use that, I mean, it makes you feel very, very fairy godmother, right?
very
Or
Harry
Glenda,
Potter.
right? Very Glenda the Good Witch. You're like, yeah, ching. And yes, I'm cleansing my space, little ones. Oh, but it's so fun to just do that. And you've got those crystals and it's very empowering. But putting black tourmaline or black obsidian in near your doors and windows for protection. Doing things like that after you've gone through and saged and cleansed your space, it's a
Mhm.
great opportunity to just say, okay, now none of that negative crap's coming back in, right? We're set up for the year. Using clear quartz. Clear quartz is a be all end all catch everything kind of stone for empowering energy. Um, Again, I mentioned the wands, but some really cool things that I love to do because one of the other parts of our remodel has been our bathroom. And I have a new tub that is
Yay.
glorious. Oh, it has jets. It's so nice.
Oh, good.
I don't know that he'll be able to fit into it, but I can. I'm very excited. But anyway, salt baths, right?
Oh, yeah.
Salt baths are a kick way to really cleanse your energy. So using some good Himalayan salt, which I have a bag of those rocks. But if you don't even have that, Epsom salts. Grab some Epsom salts. And then really kick it up a notch if you really want to. Now, I will preface this, if you're using salt in your water, and even if you're just using regular bath water, you always want to check crystals to make sure that they are compatible. Not all crystals play well in water. Selenite, malachite, for example, don't always play well in water. So thinking about that, but then even a dash of little herbs on top. So if
Mm.
you're really focused on energy healing, for example, and self-love, then put some rose quartz in there with you and maybe a little rosemary or lavender on top to add that aroma and really just cleanse your senses. And that becomes your best salt bath in the world. And you made it
Yeah.
intentional too, which you and I, we're all about the intentional living. So all of a sudden saying, yeah, it's about self love this year and about releasing what no longer serves. Yeah. Smudging, salt baths, always adding crystals to about everything I do. There's even a crystal on my feather, for smudging. How about you? What's
That
some
makes
things
sense.
you?
So when you were talking
I know
about,
smudging is a big one for you, but
oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah, totally. When you were talking about the salt bath though, like you kept adding things on in the herbs and the crystals, and so that sounds like when I'm doing kitchen witchery.
Oh yeah.
It sounds a lot like I am creating a soup of myself.
Right.
So then I was like, oh, okay, but then
Okay,
it's the
no
soup
beef
that
broth or
fills your
chicken broth
soul.
needed. Right.
It's the things that you're adding that you want to add to your life. So
Yes.
sorry, people, if you went down that same path I did, let's bring it back.
I love it though. It's a big Natalie soup in a bowl. Yep. Grab your wood spoon, get the bamboo, stir it all
Right.
up. You're
No, I
making
just
a
got to get
pot.
all the right smells and the balance and
Right?
to make it right. To make it the
Exactly.
way I want to taste my life, I guess.
Exactly.
Anyway,
And it depends on what your intention is. And I mean,
right?
take a bath for self-love, take another bath around manifesting abundance and use some different crystals and herbs. Shake it up. There's so much information out there, but there's a lot in the
I'm gonna get nothing done taking all these baths.
yeah, well, no, you read. You read.
I've got more coursework to do. So
I know, but we read while we're in the tub and we
yeah,
keep learning, right? We learn from
indeed.
others. So,
And
yeah,
we burn incense, so we keep people employed the way we burn incense,
that's true. And, buying crystals from
right?
reputable
Yeah,
businesses, folks.
ethically
I
sourced.
am big on the ethics when it comes to your crystals and your herbs. So, I think we both are. So,
Yeah, yeah, we totally.
ethically sourced, ethically
Yeah,
mined.
immersive
Yeah.
spirit stands behind that.
Yes.
Okay, so sorry, I took us down another rabbit hole.
Was it
Other
rabbit stew? That's good.
no, no. Okay, so other things that you could do for energy clearing, like I mentioned, I have sound bowls here, and that is really good. I have recently got into the binaural beats,
Mm,
which is so fantastic for meditation. Like it's just another level. I don't have tuning forks. I think I want to kind of extend my collection of tools into tuning forks because I've seen people use them, but
hmm
they don't have the time to like really train on them. So we'll see if that comes to fruition this year. But I think tuning forks are really good, not only for yourself, but I think it's really good for your space, like samples. Binaural beats are more like personal.
Yeah.
Um, the other things I use are breath work, and that's
Oh.
for ourselves, like our chakra centers,
hmm
visualizations. Um, for New Year and especially new moon, I always try to breathe through, do breath work that releases all the heavy, negative, what no longer serves me energy to get out of my body. Because you have to make space for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And it's those big deep breaths, right? The
right,
like
like
when
the
you're doing a meditation for people in different workshops or whatever, and it's just yeah, it's very much very in through the nose and out through the mouth, and it's very intentional. And when you're sitting and that's all you're concentrating on, it's powerful. It just puts you in that place and you can feel your like clean the you can feel the dirty air leaving.
And that's exactly how I picture it. Is like the breath in is all fresh and
Uh-huh.
it's in there and it's doing little sweeps and it's picking up all the dirty little air particles and all the dirty little feelings and not dirty as in like nasty, but dirty as in no longer serving, needs to get
hmm
out, needs fresh. And
Bad
then when you
juju.
breathe out, you just push it out. A 4-7-8 breathing technique is really good for that, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So okay, I mentioned 4-7-8 breath technique. So here's a few other tips. Burn some incense, diffuse essential oils, light candles, because that will help maintain your fresh energy. Because we've been talking like this is a once in a process thing for our new moons or our new year or our wheel of the year, whatever. Um, but if you do that consistently, you keep your energy fresh, right?
Yeah.
Probably a lot like with crystals, you cleanse them in the moon
Hmm.
and move them around appropriately to how you want your
Absolutely.
feng shui.
Absolutely. And it's like you said, it's keeping your area clean and detoxified, and it's using them all the time. I mean, yes, we're talking about 2025 and we're talking about the things that we do, but you always, I mean, not everybody. I always wear jewelry. And so, sometimes some of it's on all the time, the little hoops or whatever, and some of my rings, but other pieces are not. And these suckers, like one stays on all the time, as you know, but my other bracelets get put on a little selenite stand, a little tower every night just to be cleansed and suck out anything that was bad from the day, clean them up, and then I put them on again the next day. Um, I'll do it with my earrings, even after I'm done with wearing my earrings, even though they're sterling, but they're turquoise. So these will sit on a selenite plate before I go to bed tonight to make sure that they're all nice and cleansed. I owe that to them. They're energetic bodies, right? And so I look at it as everything that's being given to us as a gift. The incense should be burned. The sage should be used. The things it's been put here to help us to align and to I think it aligns us better with the earth, right? And the
Oh
respect of
yeah.
Mother Earth um and the universe. Yeah. I don't know. I
Yeah.
went on a I could philosophize on that kind of stuff all day long. But but really, I mean, you mentioned just while we were doing the lunar intentions and how you and I we have our full moon intentions, we have our release party or full moon release party and our new lunar intentions, and we have um but it's not like those are the only times we burn. Incense is burning in our offices every day.
Right.
And candles will burn. If there's not incense going, there's a candle going. Sometimes both are going. And yeah, why not?
Yep. Yep. Totally agree. Well, and in doing so, it's like a tip, like if you keep your house clean or if you keep that stuff picked up, you
Mm-hmm.
don't spend hours scrubbing it because, it's just same thing energetically. You
Yes.
don't clean it once and then let yourself fill up with all of the junk and garbage. Like we walk around every day and you practice a quick morning visualization to ground yourself and clear yourself. And we should be treating our environments the same way as we treat our bodies energetically. Or, sprinkling salt around the house and salt's not great for the earth. So like when I absolutely use salt, I'll use like a black salt, ash salt,
Mm-hmm.
for protection. So like the things that you can do and maintain a practice so your house doesn't get heavy. So your energy doesn't get heavy.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. And again, that goes back to crystals, right? Put crystals on the four corners of your property or whatever your angles are of your property, but somewhere around there because that's a protective thing. And it's not just the doors. Um, but your home is it's your healing source of energy, whether it is a 300, 200 square foot tiny home, little, or whether you live in a 5,000 square foot home, 10,000 square foot home, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's about honoring the space around you that's been provided for you as well. Because yeah, grounding is, and we ground all day long. I mean, you walk around and you feel somebody's energy that's bad and it's immediate, like, oh yeah, I'm looking at them and I'm listening to you,
Ground clear shield.
but I'm putting a bubble around right now too because I don't need your shit. I don't want it.
Right. Right.
And then I'm going to make a suggestion to you in the kindest way possible to ground.
Go see an energy worker because you need some help.
Right? Right? If you aren't in, yeah, because you're not in your space, at least not lovingly.
Right.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
You mentioned a couple things, and I'm glad you kind of brought it back up with crystals because I have the selenite, and
Oh,
you are a selenite queen, but I have quite a bit of selenite in here. And so we have the manifestation course, and we're sending
yeah.
out like the little manifestation kits that you and I put together.
Yes.
And so I have the mini selenite wands here, but I'm keeping them on my selenite because I've charged them and I've, meditated over them and I've prayed over them and I've really charged them with my energy and like I'm so into this. So now I have them sitting on my selenite because I don't want them to pick up any other energy. So I have like selenite on top of selenite, on top of selenite with
You
our
might not
crystals.
need to go that far just because
I
the
know, but I'm
selenite
like,
stands on its
it's a
own,
month
but
away.
that's a nice boost. Yeah.
I've got to keep them protected. And
Right.
then you also like the property. Um, Crystals, yes, I have crystals around my property, but
Mhm.
in like our serious hauntings, we also have those copper wires that we put into the ground. So that's something different, but you can always protect your energy. There's multiple ways to do it.
Oh,
So if you're having
absolutely.
something specific that seems to be above a black bleh, bleh.
Tourmaline.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
There are other things that can assist with those type of energy pieces.
Absolutely. Yeah. And and honestly, folks, if you're having those kind of energy issues, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're happy to schedule time and talk with you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a lot, it's funny because it's not funny. That's not a funny topic.
No,
But it is
but I get it.
strange
Yeah.
how we were just talking about this a month or two ago, and I was like, our real estate clearing and haunting clearing work and all of that had really gone down. And now it's really gone back up.
It's really picked up. We've
Yeah,
been doing
like
a lot of it lately, a lot of different
yeah,
house and space clearing for people. Yeah,
yeah.
it
That
has
that's
been pretty
that's been
active.
interesting. Maybe
Yeah,
it's 'cause I put the energy out to the universe, like we're bored, and so they said, "Here you go."
right, because we have so much free time.
Right between your coursework
I know. Whatever. It's all
and
good.
your
It's for
readings.
it's for helping other people. So that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yep. Squirrel.
Squirrel all the time, squirrel.
Oh, hey, well, we didn't have one last week. We didn't never said squirrel once, so I had to get it in there somewhere
We've had like four or five on
today.
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we like this topic. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, clearing your space and keeping it clear is
Oh,
fantastic.
it's huge. It's huge, right? I mean, so, thinking about minimalism, and I think, did you have any other tips that you wanted to share before I kind of talk about a little decluttering?
No, go ahead.
Well, I'm just, decluttering is such a hot topic for me.
Hmm.
Maybe it's because I just went through it in my office. It's huge. I mean, I know I mentioned that right at the beginning, but I'd started this, taking the 21 day challenge that we have. And so I'd started and I was doing desk drawers, which were already done before all this started. And I thought, well, this is a huge accomplishment, right? I have a roll top. It's an old roll top desk and I love it. I've had it. It was a high school graduation gift. And I will just say that that is over 3 decades. It's pushing 4.
No.
I know, right? No, it was yesterday. Yesterday. I'm 20.
Okay,
Um,
you're not pushing 4 decades yet. Like pushing 4 decades is like year or two away from 4 decades, and you are not a year or two away from 4 decades.
I'm 3.
You didn't have to give a number.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Well,
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I'm out of my freaking mind. Anyway, so I did my drawers. I did, little things and I'd kind of put them in a box, but the box was still in my office. So when he came to me and said, "Okay, I'm ready to do your floors. Are you off this week?" From the corporate job. And I went, "Yeah." And I was pissy about it because that meant I had to move everything out of here. And for those that have seen my office, the amount of herbs and crystals and bookshelves. I mean, now most of my crystals I've got organized and put in, in their proper boxes or whatnot. But it's a lot of stuff in here. Well, I'll just tell you what. It only took us 30 minutes to cram all that stuff into boxes and put it into our dining room to make space for him to do this. It took me 3, 4 hours to
Put
put
it
it all back
Well, then you have to
because
think through placement. And
I got to change my placement, which was huge. The energy shift in here, just changing how things were placed on my bookshelves. My altar, no way. I don't mess with it. I love my altar. It's beautiful. It's perfect. I've got logs on there from the trees that we had to cut down in the backyard after a windstorm. I have, all sorts of things on there that I just love. So it went back exactly as it was, but clean. I mean,
right. And
when's the
then that
last time
changes
you
energy.
Right? When's the last time you went through and like dusted? And
Oh
I don't
my,
mean just like with a feather duster, I mean dusted every one of your herb bottles.
Well, actually, I do that monthly because when I set my intention, I adjust my entire room to focus on that intention.
Oh my God, I love you for that, but no.
But not my crystals. Like my crystals are in their boxes. Like I don't open up and clean all of those.
Right, no,
Just
no.
move the box.
But they're glass covered boxes, right? So those are
Right.
easy to set out under the full moon if they need juice and place
Hmm.
out, you know, when I use them, then they go on the selenite to be cleansed, if they're especially if we're not around a full moon. Um, but the drawers were done. Then I put everything back in the office. It's a joy. Number one, I have hardwood floors, so I feel very connected already to the earth, right? And even though they are engineered, it's beautiful, beautiful. And it has brought so much additional clarity to me working in here. I don't even want to, it's not my office anymore. I can't figure out what I want to name this space because, you know, the sacred space is for lots of folks and all that. And it's not, it's an everything space. It's a my space and it's not my space, you know, hello, old school MySpace. But it's an energetic space for me and it feels so good.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, yeah. Some more, you know, around that piece of it. Um, I think social media really don't forget when you're thinking about your physical space, the things
Mhm.
that we use. We all have our phones, right? You got them, and that's physical. It has a physical impact on you, and that has mental impacts on you. And so, if you go through and clean up your space and decide how you want to use that, I mean, take a break if you can. I mean, obviously, we're in a job where we are on social a lot. Um, but it's an awesome opportunity to detox from the social media to spend some time organizing your digital files. Going through, I think you were talking about earlier, and I don't know if this was on the podcast or before we jumped on, going through all your pictures. I think it was on the
It was
podcast.
on the podcast, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so,
Because we all have thousands and thousands of
oh,
those, and a lot of
God.
them are duplicates because we have to snap, snap, snap to see which one's perfect. And then we
Right.
don't delete the other five.
Right. And so it's like, and you might go through and clean them up right in your iCloud, right? But you won't go back through or you might clean them on your phone, but not your iCloud. Well,
Right.
go get them or whatever you use. And it's so empowering to go through and clean all that out. Now, just to take it in chunks, I will say that baby chunks or baby steps, because it can be a rabbit hole of its own. And
Oh
then you'll
Lord,
be
yeah.
frustrated. Do not think that you have to go through, in my case, 15,000 photos in one afternoon. It's just not going to happen. Just look at 1 year on your phone's files and say, okay, I'm going to tackle whatever year this was and just clean them up. What do I want to save? Could it be put in folders? Could it be shared with anybody else? Am I ever going to look at this again? Bless and release it. Your social media accounts, same way. If there are accounts out there you're not using, why are you out there? Why do you have it? Because someday somebody might actually use it? Meh, trash it. Same with like any of your subscriptions, email subscriptions. Now, everyone should be subscribed to our site, immersivespirit.com. Just
To be
saying.
clear.
But otherwise, you know, if you're tired of junk or you're tired of all of these different things, ditch them. Why not? Why are you cluttering your stuff in your life and all of this if you don't need it?
Yeah, well, and I'm probably going to rub some people wrong here, but even if you're following the accounts of people who have not stalked you your whole life, but have loved you or want to date you or want to be your
Oh,
friend, and so you continue to be friends with them online because it gives your ego a little boost. Well, it's
yes.
time to let that ego stuff that is heavier than you know. You
Oh
drop
my
those
God, that's
accounts
brilliant. Yeah.
and you lose a ton of just drained energy that just goes along with them.
Oh, that's genius. I hadn't even thought of that. But yeah,
Yeah.
all those things that you're doing to inflate yourself. Number one, why do you need them?
Yep. You
Inflate
don't
yourself.
trust us, you do not. We
You do
love you.
not. Yeah. Inflate yourself on your own. Take that salt bath. You know, use your stones, use your meditation, use but you don't need that. You don't need somebody else to coax your ego. You are fabulous. And Yeah. Oh, God, that's a good one, Natalie. I need to look at my own stuff now and make sure I don't have any of those lingering. I never pay attention to it for personal anymore. It's all immersive spirit 24/7. But when I am out there, I'm just checking in with close friends really quick. I could definitely stand some decluttering in my Facebook world.
Yeah, I just did it actually a couple weeks ago, and there were two accounts I kind of hung on to probably a little longer than was absolutely necessary.
Ah,
And it was really good to just delete them and be
yep.
like, I don't need to see your updates. I don't want you to contact me once a year. I don't,
Nope.
please don't.
Nope.
So
And
it's
I don't
good.
want
And
you to read
so,
between the lines on my post like it's somehow
right.
alerting all
Like
of a
I'm not
sudden.
sending you signals that
Right. Right.
right,
This isn't for
you don't
you
need that
after
in your life,
25
folks.
years that, hey, hey, let's get back together. No, you
Yeah, we're
don't.
not gaming the system.
Mm-mm.
That's not how it's working. So
Oh,
yeah, do
God,
that
that's
because it really it does it's very empowering because people
genius.
are using you in that way too. And you are kind of cord cutting in an electronic version.
I love it.
But that brings us over to like treating your energy in your body because we've talked a lot about external stuff and digital and blah
Yeah.
blah blah. But Steph and I have talked at ad nauseum about our own practices and how I am very ritualistic and orthodox about how I run my day.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people don't want to do that. Like,
Right.
that's ridiculous and overwhelming. So, I think it's really important to keep your energy clear, just to pick up a couple practices that you can stick with, that like
Agreed.
grounding, clearing, shielding, or protecting bubble, and maybe some meditation or maybe journaling. You don't have to
Yeah.
do all three. You don't even have to do two, but
No.
something that you can consistently keep your energy field clear.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And if it is meditation or so meditation, journal, pull a daily card just to feel what your energy's like that day. So it kind of gives you some guidance about how you can treat yourself that day. And I think that's empowering too, because while we're clearing this energy, we also we want to know how to operate within the energy of the day as well.
Right. Right. Looking at the lunar and going through and doing that.
Right.
And of course, in our journal, um, for our quarterly journal, of course, there's all of our manifestation and all these notes, but it should not feel like an obligation to you. If it feels
Mm-mm.
like an obligation to you, you need to let it go. Because I mean, I love a good checklist and I love journaling and I love going out and writing those gratitudes and going through that with my coffee in the morning. It's my thing. But there are some days I miss it. I just don't get it done for whatever reason. And I'm not going to feel guilty about that. It's my journal, it's my notes. It doesn't change
True,
how I feel. But
but like that is like if we're mentoring with you or like I'm always going to push journaling because
always,
it is like that's one of our favorite things because it was so good for our own spiritual growth over the last 6, 7 years.
oh, yeah.
Like it's totally changed the trajectory of the way we think of things, the compassion we have for others. Like it just grows you exponentially. So please pick that one
Right.
if you're all
Well,
gonna pick one.
I agree. But what I'm
And
saying,
protection and protection.
I'm not saying not to.
No, no, I understand. I just wanted
But
to.
yeah, like on the days where it's like I draw my card, for
Mhm.
example, but I don't have that moment or I don't think in that moment to just go and write my thoughts and notes on it. Then I'll
Oh,
have still
right.
drawn my card and looked at it and been like, oh, all right, I get you. I see what you're putting down for me today. Got it. Or my spirit guide's talking to me this morning, which I haven't written down anything about yet because I have done my quarterly journal stuff, but I have my other journal, which is just not quite Dear Diary, but might as well be. And but the spirit guides this morning, I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to know? And man, if they didn't just show me a medicine wheel, like it was nothing. And I thought, oh, I'm supposed to be sitting in the center of that, having a quiet moment. That's the
Sounds
kind of
beautiful.
stuff but that's the kind of stuff that it's like, yeah, okay. But if there's things that you feel like you're really obligated to do and you dread them, they give you that pit of your stomach kind of, oh God, I don't want to do this. And I don't mean exercise. We have to exercise. Come on, folks, just get over it. Um, I don't like it either. I don't want to go do it, but I know I need to. And those are, there's things for your health that you just know you need to accomplish. this is a mental health thing, right? There's certain things that you know you need to accomplish. But if it brings guilt because you didn't get it done, from a mental perspective, you're
Yeah.
just adding clutter. You're just
Don't, yeah,
adding
no
you're
guilt.
adding negative impact, right? And you don't want that. You want to be embracing and enjoying it. But I think Natalie's your point on this of take one or two things and love them. And if those two things don't work for you, or one of those, ditch that and try another one. Because there are so many cool tools out there that you can be working with. I agree, we're journalers. That's just what we do. Sometimes it's digital notes, sometimes it's, we'll text each other ideas all day long that end up in journals someplace or end up in a book or a course or whatever. But there's constant writing going on, constantly.
Right.
And
And
that,
that's like, that's my whole problem. Because when I said I
oh
started
my
out,
God,
we
you,
have those, my orthodox things that I do. And so
ugh,
as I'm thinking about the one or two things I would highly recommend, it's like, but I can't not say that. And I can't not say
oh,
that.
I know. And then they turn into these
And then
giant,
it's a
it's like,
list.
right.
But that's my personal list. That's my
And then
issue
she
on
sends
here.
me freaking War and Peace. I mean, she's like, hey, I've had another squirrel. And I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. Here it comes. What are we
I'm
doing
not
now?
even opening it anymore. Just say
Yeah.
no.
I'm like, I'm not reading this. I don't know what you want, but I don't have time. And no, I'm just kidding. But we end up taking it on because it's always really good stuff, right? We come up between us, and this has been
Oh,
part of the journaling process because the more we write, the more courses we produce, the more things you put out and share that are manifesting in your own mind, the more you create. The more energy we create, the better we feel, the more we share. And it becomes this beautiful circle and it's fun.
well,
And
yeah,
I,
because we want to share everything like we know, and then we don't think about the things we know until then we write it down and we're like, oh, yeah, well, I knew that. And be like, oh, we should share that. Well, how do we share it? And then it becomes like a,
right. It's like,
oh
oh,
my
well,
gosh.
somebody told us they didn't know about this. We thought everybody knew.
Right.
We
And I
thought
think
that was
that
common
with
knowledge,
immersive
so we need to
spirit,
share. Yeah.
I think that's what we've learned a lot is that we always assume that we're the dumbest in the room.
Right.
And I'm not, no one's dumb. That's a
No.
really
No,
horrible
but
word
we
to use.
always feel like we're
But
like the most uneducated about everything spiritual.
about everything, like everybody knows more than we do.
Yeah.
And then as we start talking, it's like, oh, I've never heard of that. I'd be like, and it's so exciting to share.
Right. And then they give us something that we've never heard of,
Right.
right? That
So
we are still
like this
quote
big, like you
unquote
said,
dumb.
it's a
I mean,
big, beautiful circle.
it is. It's awesome. I love our community because my God, we have some beautiful,
Brilliant
brilliant minds.
minds.
Truly, truly. We have some of the most amazing people. I can't some of these people I know will be teachers for us or on
Well,
their
most of them
own.
are already.
Well, they're teachers for me and you, but I mean they're going to be sharing it like putting
Oh,
things on our
yeah.
site. You know what I mean? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
We're learning
I
from
agree.
everybody every day,
All
always.
right. So
Squirrels.
okay, let's frame it for the new year. If
Okay,
we were
let's
going to break this down,
yeah. Yeah,
what do
yeah.
you got?
Be intentional, right? It's immersive spirit. We are intentional. That's what you do. So, a practice in your intention setting, focus on those and clear your space, clear your mind, and make sure that as you're setting those intentions for yourself, they're not super overwhelming, right? Don't do things that are just gonna, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna lose 50 pounds in 5 weeks. Okay.
Not in a
Realistic.
healthy way,
Right, right. Not where you're not going to end up in the hospital potentially.
right?
Yeah. So it's thinking about where do I really want to set those intentions and then finding the best way for you to manifest that. Because it's not, don't think of it as a resolution, don't think of it as a goal. It's being intentional. I am healthy. I am this weight. I am. So you're putting your intentions in the form of a manifestation and making it happen. That's number one for me. What about you?
Yeah, I think that's really good. And I think from there, it's um, really giving that permission to come about
Mm,
in a way that it has to. So, like, really
yes.
transformational. You got to let go of the things you need to let go of
Yes.
to align correctly with your desire. Like, if this is really your intention, get everything else out of the way, get that space open, and be empowered to give everything permission to come into your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally agree. And I would add to that, it's transforming how you think.
Mm-hmm. For
Um,
real.
because it's by being intentional, by letting those things go, clearing your space, you are transforming that and you're creating this balance. And we've already, we were just talking about how everything is a big circle. But when you're creating that balance and that flow, it's yeah, I don't know. There's something about it that with the grounding, the decluttering, you're getting in the flow of everything, just kind of from a spiritual perspective. And then from a physical perspective, you're creating a flow and a structure in your environment that's going to make it just super easy to follow and to stay with it. Right? So
Yeah.
that next year uh, or during one of the Sabbaths or, during, um, spring, summer, whatever, equinox, solstice, that you're not sitting here going, oh, it's spring cleaning. It's this, it's this, it's this. It's like, no, I'm good. My energy's good. I'm just opening the windows to air it out in here.
Right. I'm just freshening the space. And so
Yeah.
you bring up a really good point about the flow and everything, especially like mentally, because there's the epigenetics of it all. And there is the brain and heart coherence, like really transforming the way you think about things, because that's scientific.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have the seven levels of consciousness. Like there are so many things that you can do um, that aren't, necessarily woo-woo. There's the science behind it, and it's
Yep.
the way that you think. So you got to break neural patterns to build the new ones in the direction you want to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, and the science, I mean, going, of course, back to crystals, but I mean, looking crystal grids, but even sacred geometry as a whole. If
Hmm.
you were to get into a sacred geometry type, and that's very scientific. Well, crystals, folks, I mean, sorry, I hate to break it for you, but they're in your body. You have a ton of different crystal elements and pieces within your body. We're already connected to those little suckers. So but that's all, if you're interested in learning more, it's in the course. But the sacred geometry part of it, you take into every part of your life. How you organize your space. Do you love round areas? Do you love triangles? Do you love squares? Do you love things that are intentionally shaped with odd angles? That's all part of sacred geometry. And every little bit of it means something just a little bit different. It all is very, very, and it's all very universally connected. And there's a lot of science behind that. There's a lot. I mean,
There is. So you allow all this flow into your life. So you learn
yes,
and you flow in and out of these things, give yourself
absolutely.
permission. So you've got the flow and the structure because you've done the energy in your environment and the
Right.
energy inside of your body. So
Exactly.
the more you know, I guess
The
what we're
more you
saying.
know. And that's why feng shui has always been such a huge thing,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Because it is about setting your space intentionally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I rambled.
Um, all right. So after we have all of that, after you've decluttered and you've cleansed and you've done all of these things, you really need to take time about how you felt about the process because that's where our learning is. That's where we get all those pathways determined about what it feels like to do this. And because it feels good. It's like
Hmm.
running a mile or 5 miles or however long it takes you to personally get those endorphins rolling. But you really don't want to run until then you've ran. And once you've ran, you're like, I feel amazing. I should do this every day.
Right? This was
But you,
cool. That's a
you have to write it
buzz.
down to remember because we don't do it every day.
Right. Right. It's those things that give you a natural high. And
Right.
you go, what, the first time that meditation hits you the right way, or the first time you work with your spirit guides and you actually like hear, taste, feel something there that that they're there and go, oh, I want to talk to them every day. Where have you
Right.
been? And they're like, we've been right here,
We've been here the whole time just waiting for
Right.
you to pay attention to us.
Right. We just waited for you to wake up. But yes, there you go. Yeah.
Well, but if you take time to actually look at this process and document how you felt about it
Hmm.
and what you notice in the energy around you,
Oh, yeah.
like how did it shift? And so you can start really taking note about like patterns of the year, patterns of the energy, and the more you know about yourself, the easier you're going to operate on this timeline. Like it's just
Absolutely.
going to be more flowy for you.
Exactly. It's like
Works a
sleep
little bit.
patterns.
Yeah.
Everybody knows, at least most, if you've paid attention to your body, you understand if you're a 6 hour sleep kind of person or a 9 hour
Hmm.
sleep. And when you figure out that structure and where you are at your optimum, your optimal operating, then it's the same theory, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and after you've done all that, you need to make sure you celebrate because I don't think we've had nearly enough celebrations in here. There are, 8 Sabbats, so
Hmm.
we can properly celebrate all
All
of these
year
new
long.
moon holidays.
Yahoo! Right? Right?
Well, and plus all the other holidays that we also celebrate as well.
Right. New moon, full moon, we got the Sabbats, and then you throw in your regular traditional calendar holidays, and yeah, life's a party, people. Woo!
So we also talked about like the daily tips for keeping our energy aligned, so like ground and clear and shield and
Yes.
protect and all of those things.
Uh-huh.
What other maintenance tips that we could come up with for your energetic spaces, everything that we've talked about?
I think well, tidy up. First thing in the morning you
Mhm.
wake up, just make your bed. There was a huge speech, and it's by a general. It was at a college graduation years ago, and I need to find the video. Beautifully done. Absolutely beautiful. But one of his key points in there was how he started every day by making the bed. Because by doing that, you've set into motion, because that's one task off your list, right? It's one thing done. It's one thing that makes you feel like you've accomplished something. It's one. So by tidying up, it's that one thing that leads to another thing that leads to another thing. And
One
pretty
small success. I think I
exactly.
have read that, and I make my bed every day.
Yeah,
That's just
I do too. And I because it's just like when you go to bed at night, you look at it and go, "Oh, it doesn't look decluttered. It doesn't give you when you walk by your room, it doesn't give you a sense of disorganization. You're like, that part's done." So, and the same with everything in your bathroom. When you're done, makeup and stuff, it goes
put it
back in
away.
its right spot. Toothbrush, toothpaste, things just go in a certain order. And by doing that from the very beginning, which is a small victory and seems really silly, but it sets you up for success throughout your entire day because you
Right.
have just owned it and said, "Yep, that's done. What's next?" Right? Oh, okay, the dishwasher's full. Let me unload that really fast before I go to work, before I go here, whatever it might be. Yeah. So I'd say spend 5 minutes, and if you've got longer, go for it, but spend 5 minutes and tidy up your space. How about you? Some couple.
So I do a lot of breath work
Oh, yeah.
and visualization and grounding. Um, that just makes me feel good. It keeps my energy like every day. Well, and we ground probably 15, 20 times a day, and depending on
Oh,
the spirit work that we're doing or,
right.
however that flows for us. But the breath work is my personal one. Like this is me cleaning up my energy. This is me
Yep.
acknowledging that I need to do that. I mean, my
Yes.
grounding and clearing and shielding or, ghost awake, going to bed, whatever, however
Right.
that's going to work. But the breath work, I'm like, I am specifically taking care of my energy right now. And I do that a couple times a day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Breathwork's awesome.
Yeah.
And the incense, I think everybody can see the smoke burning.
Mm.
But that just sets up,
Oh, yeah.
that's an easy one that we have the benefit and the luxury of working from home. Um, and so it's very easy to do something like that. But even just taking an essential oil and dabbing a little on your wrist, right? Make sure your
Hmm.
skin is not going to be sensitive to it because it really depends on the oils. Uh, but yeah, that smell, like I have a clary sage that I wear when I do readings or when I'm doing Reiki for somebody, or, and I just dab a little bit on my wrist and a little dab behind my ears, and that smell puts me in that place because I feel that connection. So little things like that can just set your whole day up, right? If you're feeling a
Yeah.
little off, a little bit of orange or lemon and that citrusy vibrancy is going to make you feel like an energy boost. And so of the essential oils and things, yeah, things like that can the smells, right? It's something about you even think Christmas holidays, um, the smell of pies, the smell of cakes, the
Fine.
smell of pine when you go
Hmm.
outside after the rain. I love the smell of fresh rainfall. Oh, there's certain sensations and feelings that when they evoke that kind of emotion, you are you're transformed. And I think taking a moment to just really do that for yourself and figure out what scent. Is it incense? Is it some essential oils? Is it, even your favorite perfume
Right.
that keep your energy fresh, let alone your space?
And I don't, just so everybody's clear, like Stephanie and I don't know how to create these scents either, but if you buy like a set of essential oil, a lot of times they'll have different recipes to come up with specific scents.
Yeah.
That'll help you get to something that you might really like. And I am on the 21-day journey this year. I
Yeah.
created, well, I've done it a couple of years, but this year I created a lotion I really like. So, folks, I buy unscented lotion, like the really glycerin-y ones, because I've got, I have dermatology issues. Um, but then I add essential oils that create that scent for me.
Hmm.
And it's lovely because, I mean, I only
Right.
make a little bit because I don't want to have a year's worth of that scent, maybe. But it's a good way to kind of get back to that moment, like you said.
Yep.
Like you,
And I
yeah.
love doing that. I mean, I've got some of my, right now I'm a true botanicals junkie. I love the scent of their stuff. And it's just pricey, so
Okay.
it's like,
So are they going to start paying us for the podcast that we just
oh,
announced them?
God,
I'm just
right?
kidding. I'm just kidding.
Please, please, please just send me some free shit. God, I would love that. But they, they're a couple of their oils I just love, and their body lotion is divine. And I won't mess with that. But I'm just like you, like there's other unscented lotions I have. And in the summertime, I'll add like a little lemongrass oil to it. And in the wintertime, you can add a little peppermint or a little spearmint or, something that kind of gives it that scent. Yeah, a little peppermint oil under your nose. If your nose is all clogged up before bed, it works just like good old Vicks Vapor Rub. Good time.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yep. But yes, I mean, take it and make it yours. That's the whole point. It's all about what works for you. And if it is your favorite perfume, go for it. If it's a favorite cologne, but it's not just about putting it on yourself and the things that we do. It's about how does it fill the space around you. So, number one, we don't want to be obnoxious for anybody else that has to sit by us. There's that rule always. It's like burning popcorn at work. Just don't. Don't cook fish in the microwave at work either. Let's be honest
I was
here.
thinking tuna fish, popcorn, like come on,
Right?
folks.
Just
We
don't
all
do
know
it.
the rules.
Don't do it. Walk away. Walk away. But the things, if you have the opportunity to put one of those little bottles of oil on your desk at work, then you can just open the cap and smell it yourself. And it's just your space and you live
Your
there
your
and yay you.
personal your
Yeah,
personal
it's
diffuser.
your bubble.
Right.
Yeah. 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 I mean, we could talk about those way too long, which I already did. Yeah.
Right. We've
Did we
we've been
miss
on here for
anything?
a while talking about a lot of stuff.
We always do. God, we have fun.
Yeah.
Did we miss anything?
I can't think of anything that I want to add.
Yeah, right. A few things we probably should take out, but we're not going to because we don't edit our podcast.
Ever.
Nope. We are we are authentic. You'll love us or you won't, but we don't edit our podcast. We just put it out there, which is why it's like we'll do it and you're going to see it out online in 2 hours as soon as we get it all spliced together with the audio.
Oh yeah, with our intro. Yeah.
Yeah, intro and the little fun music and yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So cool. Well, Natalie had mentioned we've got our manifestation. She's not giving it enough credit. That sucker is 6 weeks of live. So which will be
Well, the Q&A
Q&As.
sessions are going to be live.
Q&A sessions are live.
Yeah.
And those Q&As are going to be, so each week you'll receive information. You'll go through, you'll have your own homework, things that you're going to work through, and then you'll come to those Q&A sessions. So it is absolutely amazing. It is limited in participation. We do have a number cap on that at 11, simply because it's powerful. And yeah, so that one is on our course offerings. No, yeah, that's in course
Yeah.
offerings
It's
because
live
it's a
on.
program. Yes, yes, yes. It's a full program out there. And then, as we already mentioned, the crystals class is out now. Our tarot class is out. The tarot class is way beyond traditional tarot, right? So please understand that's not just about what the cards are, but there's a lot of meaning and depth in that as well. The crystals, We get into the history of crystals as well as your connection to the body, and then moving into crystal grids,
How to use
rituals,
them that
how to
people
use
don't
them.
always know.
Right. How to use them
Yep.
within your different Sabbats, if you're interested in that, rituals and how to use them within grids. So those are available as well. And oh, our psychic development workshop is tomorrow.
Yep.
So we're really excited about that. If you want to check out our events, you can find all of our psychic development, remote viewing, our new moon and our full moon events are out there. So, feel free to take a look at that.
Well, and we
Um,
should put a little declutter checklist or something on this
oh
podcast
yeah, good
so
idea.
people
We'll add
can.
a checklist of some of the things that we've talked about today that bullet that out that you'll
Yeah.
be able to download. So go to YouTube if it doesn't work on the other podcast apps, because I doubt you'll be able to do it on Apple or Spotify or those.
Oh, right. I didn't think about that.
But
Yeah.
I think the YouTube channel, I think we can add it there as an attachment. I'll have to double
Okay.
check. If not, though, and you're interested in that, you can email us. If you don't find it, just email us at info@immersivespirit.com and we'll happily send you a copy.
Or look one up online. Something that's just going to help you
Right.
figure out your approach to this.
Yeah. We've just put it in, we'll just put it in a list format for you. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Sweet. All right. I think that's it. We have a lot going on. Just go to immersivespirit.com. I know we shouldn't ramble about all these, but we got to promote people. It's a business. I just got to say. And we don't want to do ads. We've promised certain folks that we just adore that we will stay away from advertising. So we have to plug ourselves. We just got to do it. So with that, I will just say from our wonderful podcast, High Heels to Happy Feels, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Natalie.
And with Immersive Spirit, we thank you for joining us for this episode, and we'll see you again next week. Have an amazing week. Bye bye.